There comes a moment in your life when noise stops helping you and silence starts saving you. People think silence is weakness, but let me tell you something today. Silence is a strategy. Silence is power. Silence is a skill. Because when you stop talking, you start hearing your own voice. When you stop explaining, you start understanding your own worth. And when you stop reacting, you start ruling your own world. Listen, you don't need to announce your moves. You don't need to prove your value. You don't need to justify your dreams. Silence is where strong people grow. Focus is where strong people rise. Your success doesn't need a soundtrack. It needs patience, clarity, and quiet hustle. While the world is shouting for attention, you become the one who doesn't need it. While they are chasing validation, you're building transformation. The truth is, your focus is your secret weapon. Protect it like your life depends on it, because it does. When you cut out the noise, when you walk away from drama, when you stop responding to things beneath your energy, that's when you step into your real power. Remember this, a quiet mind holds the loudest future, and the person who says nothing is often the one preparing to say everything at the right time, in the right way, to the right world. So stay silent, stay focused, and let your results become the loudest thing about you. Silence protects your energy in a world that constantly demands a reaction from you. Think about it. Every day someone tries to pull you into their chaos. A rude comment, a jealous friend, an argument waiting to happen, an unnecessary drama thrown your way. And what do most people do? They jump into the fire without thinking. But the strongest people, they don't. They pause. They breathe. They go silent. Because silence is not loss. Silence is protection. When you stop reacting to every noise around you, you start hearing the noise within you. And that's where the real work begins. Your energy is the most valuable currency you own. You spend it every day on thoughts, on people, on places, on problems. And the truth is, most people waste it on things not worth a single second of their mental space. Silence gives you the power to choose. It teaches you this simple truth. Not everything needs your attention. Not everyone deserves your access. Imagine someone trying to provoke you. Their goal is simple, to drain you, to weaken you, to make you lose control so they can feel powerful. But the moment you choose silence, the moment you refuse to engage, you win. You protect your energy and you keep your peace. Silence doesn't mean you are afraid or powerless. It means you are too strong to be pulled into battles beneath your level. It means you understand that your energy is precious and you're not giving discounts to anyone. In daily life, think of the coworker who always brings negativity. They talk about who said what, who betrayed who, who's doing better than who. They want you to join their emotional pollution. But when you stay silent, when you don't feed that negativity, it dies right there. Silence becomes your shield. Or consider the relative who tries to judge you, question your choices, compare you with others. They want a reaction. They want your energy. But when you choose silence, when you just smile and walk away, you show them something powerful. You're no longer available for nonsense. Another example, social media. Someone posts a negative comment trying to hurt your confidence. They expect you to respond. They expect you to defend yourself, argue, fight back. But when you don't reply, when you remain silent, you take away the power they thought they had. Your silence becomes louder than any argument. It says, I know who I am, and your words can't shake that. Silence also protects your energy in relationships. Sometimes the person you care about says something hurtful in anger, and reacting instantly only makes things worse. But going silent, breathing, giving space, that protects both of you. It prevents small sparks from becoming explosions. Silence helps you respond with wisdom instead of reacting with emotion. Even in friendships, silence can protect you. When someone starts showing signs of jealousy, when they mock your dreams, when they downplay your achievements, the old you would argue or try to prove your worth. But the wiser you stay silent, because you've learned that people who don't celebrate you don't deserve a place in your energy field. Silence becomes your boundary, the invisible wall that keeps toxic energy out. Think about any successful person you admire. They don't react to every rumor, every insult, every distraction. They have mastered the art of silence. They understand that energy wasted on negativity is energy stolen from growth. Silence keeps them focused, disciplined, unstoppable. Sometimes silence protects your energy by giving you clarity. When you disconnect from the noise, when you stop explaining yourself to people who don't want to understand you, your mind becomes sharper. You begin to see what truly matters. You start hearing your intuition. You start recognizing who deserves to stay in your life and who needs to go. Silence creates a space where your mind can breathe and your soul can speak. There are moments when silence becomes your strength. When someone says, you've changed, but you don't explain why. When someone tries to pull you back into old habits, but you don't entertain it. When someone tries to start a fight and you simply walk away. That is not weakness, that is evolution. Your silence is your announcement that you're growing, that you're rising, that you're not the same person who once reacted to everything. And then there's the silence you keep while you're working on yourself, the silence while you're healing, the silence while you're planning your next move, the silence while you're becoming someone you always dreamed of being. People might not understand it, they might call you distant or strange, but that silence is the foundation of your transformation. It protects your energy from opinions, doubts, distractions. It gives you the space to rebuild your life piece by piece without interference. Every time you choose silence, you choose peace. Every time you choose silence, you choose strength. Every time you choose silence, you choose yourself. Because silence protects your energy in a world that wants to drain it. And once you learn that not every situation deserves a reaction, you'll finally feel something you've been craving for a long time. Power over your own life. Focus builds your future because where your attention goes, your destiny follows. Every dream you have, every goal you carry in your heart, every version of yourself you desperately want to become, it all begins with one thing, focus. Not talent, not luck, not circumstances. Focus. You can have the biggest vision in the world, but if your mind is scattered, your energy is divided, and your attention is everywhere, you will stay exactly where you are. Focus is not about doing more, it's about doing what matters. It's about waking up every day and choosing what deserves your time, what deserves your mind, and what deserves your soul. Because the harsh truth is this: most people don't fail because they're not capable. They fail because they're distracted. They fail because they give their precious attention to things that take them nowhere. They fail because they let noise become louder than purpose. Think about a student preparing for an exam. Two students with the same potential, the same books, the same teacher, but one scrolls on their phone every 10 minutes, checks notifications, chats with friends, does everything except study with intention. The other one shuts the door, puts the phone away, and gives their full energy to learning. When the results come, people say, wow, they're smart, but no, they were focused. That's the difference. Focus builds your future in the smallest invisible ways, long before anyone sees the outcome. Consider a person starting a business. In the beginning, nobody believes in them. Everyone criticizes, everyone questions, everyone laughs, but they choose focus. Instead of defending their dream to the world, they work on it silently. While others party every weekend, they plan. While others gossip, they learn. While others quit after one failure, they adapt and try again. And one day, people say they're lucky. But no, they were focused when others were distracted. Even in personal growth, focus shapes who you become. For example, imagine someone who wants to improve their health. If they focus on excuses, I'm too tired, I'll start tomorrow, one more unhealthy meal won't matter, their life stays the same. But if they focus on discipline, drinking water, eating better, walking, training, their body transforms. Focus makes the change, not motivation alone. Daily life offers 1,000 chances to lose your focus. A message that ruins your mood. A person who drains your energy. A problem that tries to distract you. A memory that tries to pull you backward. But the power lies in choosing where to place your attention. Focus is the decision to say, this matters more than the noise around me. Focus is the courage to ignore distractions in a world that lives on them. Sometimes focus means choosing yourself over the world. Imagine someone who is trying to heal from a heartbreak. They want to rebuild their peace, regain their confidence, restart their life. But if they focus on stalking the person who hurt them, reading old messages, replaying old conversations, they stay trapped. But the moment they shift their focus toward self-love, toward growth, toward the future, everything begins to change. Healing starts with focus, not time. In friendships too, focus builds your future. If you focus on people who don't support you, who make you feel small, who laugh at your dreams, your life shrinks. But if you focus on people who inspire you, challenge you, uplift you, your world expands. What you focus on multiplies, whether it's negativity or growth. Think about careers. Two employees join the same company on the same day. One focuses on gossip, shortcuts, comfort zones. They stay stuck for years. The other focuses on learning new skills, showing initiative, taking challenges, growing beyond their job description. In a few months, their future looks completely different. Why? Because they focused on improvement instead of distractions. Focus builds your future, brick by brick, decision by decision. Even in relationships, focus matters. If you focus only on flaws, disagreements, mistakes, the relationship collapses. But if you focus on communication, understanding, patience and growth, the bond becomes stronger. Focus shapes what survives and what breaks. Sometimes focus demands sacrifice. You have to let go of people you love but who slow you down. You have to cut habits that comfort you but don't grow you. You have to leave environments that feel familiar but keep you small. And that's where most people fail. They want success without sacrifice, growth without discomfort, a future without discipline. But focus requires discipline, and discipline creates destiny. Even your thoughts follow your focus. When you focus on fear, everything feels impossible. When you focus on problems, everything looks heavy. But when you focus on solutions, strength appears. When you focus on gratitude, blessings multiply. When you focus on your goals, your mind becomes unstoppable. Your future is built inside your focus long before it appears outside your life. Look at any person who changed their life. They weren't the strongest, they weren't the smartest, they weren't the most privileged. They were the most focused. They protected their vision the way a parent protects a child. They fed it daily, they watered it with effort. They guarded it from negativity. And because of that, their future transformed. Focus makes average powerful. Focus makes ordinary exceptional. Focus turns dreams into plans and plans into reality. When you learn to direct your energy toward what truly matters, your life begins to shift in ways that feel magical, but are actually just the result of consistent focus. Every great future starts in the mind of someone who learned to say, this is what I want, and this is where I'm putting all my energy. That decision, repeated daily, builds a future that others call unbelievable. Quiet is clarity, because in the stillness you finally hear what the world has been drowning out. We live in a time where everyone is talking, everyone is rushing, everyone is trying to be louder than the next person, but very few are listening, very few are thinking, very few are truly connected to themselves. Real clarity doesn't come from noise, arguments, or opinions. It comes from silence. It comes from those quiet moments where the truth finally rises without interruption. When life becomes overwhelming, when your thoughts feel heavy, when decisions start to confuse you, the answer is not to add more noise. It's to subtract it. Quiet moments sharpen your mind like nothing else can. It's in the quiet that you ask yourself, what do I really want? What truly matters? What am I holding on to that I should have released long ago? And suddenly, things that felt complicated begin to make sense. Imagine coming home after a long, stressful day. Your mind is filled with voices, your boss's pressure, your family's expectations, your friends' opinions, your own doubts screaming loudly. The moment you sit alone in silence, even for 5 minutes, you feel the mental dust settling. You breathe deeper, your heartbeat slows, you become aware of yourself again. That's clarity being born out of quiet. No one taught you anything, no one solved your problem. It was the silence that gave your mind the space to see clearly. Think about someone standing at a crossroad in life, a career change, a relationship decision, a move to a new place. If they keep asking everyone around them, they will receive 100 different answers. And the more advice they collect, the more confused they become. But the day they sit alone, away from noise, away from influence, away from opinions, that's when clarity comes. Quiet doesn't confuse you, it reveals you. Quiet is clarity in relationships too. When you step back from arguments, from constant conversations, from emotional storms, you begin to see what you couldn't see in the heat of the moment. You realize who values you, who drains you, who respects you, and who only acts like they do. Silence shows you the truth behind people's actions. When you stop talking, you start observing. And when you start observing, you start understanding. One daily example: arguments. Most people get into fights because they react instantly. They speak from anger, not truth. But the person who chooses quiet, who pauses, who thinks before they speak, gains clarity. They see what's worth responding to and what's not. They understand the difference between a temporary emotion and a permanent decision. Quiet saves relationships. Quiet saves peace. Quiet saves your dignity. Even in self-growth, quiet is essential. Imagine someone trying to improve but constantly comparing themselves to others. They hear what society says they should be, how they should look, what they should achieve, when they should settle. That noise crushes confidence. But when they sit in quiet, they hear their own voice again. They realize their journey doesn't need to match anyone else's. They begin to understand their strengths, their weaknesses, their desires. Quiet gives clarity on who you are, not who the world wants you to be. Take another example, someone who feels lost in life. They don't know what's next. Their mind is crowded with 1,000 thoughts. In that confusion, most people panic. They rush into decisions they regret later. But the wiser ones do something different. They seek quiet. They take a walk alone. They sit in their room away from distractions. They let their thoughts settle naturally. And the moment the chaos inside them calms, clarity rises. They begin to see the next step. Not the whole journey, just the next step. And sometimes that's all you need. Quiet is also a mirror. When you sit with yourself in silence, you start to see what you've been avoiding. The habits you need to break. The people you need to distance from. The dreams you've been ignoring. The wounds you haven't healed. Quiet exposes the truth, not to hurt you, but to free you. That clarity is powerful because it is honest. Think of creativity, a writer, an artist, an entrepreneur. None of them find ideas in chaos. Inspiration doesn't appear in noise. It appears in quiet moments, early mornings, late nights, peaceful breaks, silent reflections. Every great idea you admire was born in silence before it was shared with the world. Quiet creates space for imagination, innovation, and clarity. Even in faith, quiet matters. When someone is praying or seeking guidance, their heart is never loud. It is quiet, still, humbled. That's when answers feel clearer. Quiet connects you to something higher, something deeper, and that connection brings clarity that nothing else can. Quiet also reveals people's true intentions. When you stop talking, you watch how people react. The ones who care lean in, the ones who don't drift away. In silence, you see who checks on you, who respects your peace, who waits patiently for your return, and who becomes uncomfortable when they can no longer control the narrative. Silence is the filter that separates sincerity from noise. Daily life proves again and again that quiet is not emptiness, it is alignment. Imagine sitting alone at night, remembering things that once hurt you. In quiet, those memories don't break you, they teach you. They help you understand what you deserve now. They help you see how far you've come. They help you recognize how much stronger you are than you once believed. Quiet heals parts of you that noise keeps wounding. Quiet is clarity because it removes the unnecessary and reveals the essential. It slows your world just enough for your thoughts to catch up with your heart. In silence, you become aware of your purpose. You become aware of your direction. You become aware of who you are becoming. Quiet gives you the space to breathe, to think, to choose. And when you choose from clarity instead of confusion, your life begins to shift in ways noise could never create. Stop explaining yourself, because the moment you feel the need to justify who you are, you hand your power to someone who never deserved it. Most people spend half their lives trying to make others understand their heart, their intentions, their dreams, their choices, only to realize later that the ones demanding explanations were never listening in the first place. Explanation is not validation, it is surrender, and the strongest version of you doesn't beg to be understood. There comes a time in your life where you must stand firm in your truth and let your silence be the explanation. Because people who genuinely care won't need you to explain, and people who don't care won't believe you no matter how much you try. Stop explaining yourself to people who twist your words. Stop explaining yourself to those who judge you before knowing you. Stop explaining yourself to minds too small to understand dreams too big. Think about daily situations. Someone says, "Why are you so quiet lately?" And instantly you feel the urge to defend your peace, to explain your growth, to justify your boundaries, but you don't owe anyone a guided tour of your healing. Silence is enough. Growth often looks like distance. Evolution often looks like disappearance. You're not obligated to explain why you chose yourself. Another example, choosing to walk away from a toxic friendship. They ask, "Why are you avoiding me? What did I do wrong?" And suddenly you feel guilty, as if you must explain the disrespect you tolerated, the hurt you swallowed, the way you were drained emotionally. But the truth is simple. When someone forces you to explain pain they caused, they're not asking for clarity, they're asking for permission to continue. You don't need to explain your boundaries to those who broke them. Even in success, people demand explanations. How did you get this? Why do you think you deserve that? Who helped you? They want to minimize your journey. They want to believe your success came from luck, not hard work. But you don't need to explain your dedication, your sacrifices, your silent battles. Winners don't explain their grind because the results already speak. Consider a woman who chooses to focus on her career instead of getting married early. Society pressures her, relatives question her, neighbors gossip about her, every family gathering becomes an interrogation room. And she feels the constant need to defend herself, to explain that she has dreams, vision, ambition. But one day she realizes she doesn't owe an explanation for choosing her own timeline. Every person lives their own story, and she refuses to shrink hers to make others comfortable. Or think of someone going through heartbreak. They choose to let go, to stop giving chances, to protect their heart. And suddenly the world says, why did you end it? Why didn't you try harder? They expect explanations for decisions that were made after suffering silently for months. What they don't understand is that sometimes the strongest choice is leaving without explaining, because the explanation would only reopen wounds the world never cared to see. Stop explaining your kindness. When you distance yourself from someone, they want to know why. When you forgive someone but don't reconnect, they question your heart. When you choose peace over chaos, they say you're selfish. But your path is not a public discussion. You know why you made the choices you made, and that is enough. Stop explaining your silence. People think if you're quiet, you're weak, unsure, confused. But silence is often the loudest form of strength. Silence means you're choosing peace over proving. It means you're focusing on yourself instead of convincing others. It means you've reached a level where outside opinions don't affect your inner clarity. You don't owe anyone a breakdown of your maturity. Stop explaining your happiness. When you start glowing, people want to know the secret. When you start elevating, they want to know the source. When you begin healing, they demand details. But healing is personal. Growth is private. Joy doesn't need to be justified. Let them wonder. Let them question, let them guess. Your happiness is your own creation, not a lesson you need to teach. Look at another daily example, making a choice that benefits your mental health. Maybe you stopped attending certain events. Maybe you reduced contact with draining people. Maybe you stopped entertaining gossip. And suddenly people say you're arrogant, distant, changed. And maybe you are changed, but not in the way they think. You changed because you grew. You changed because you learned. You changed because you finally realized that explaining yourself to the wrong people is the quickest way to lose yourself. The truth is, explanations are rarely for understanding, they're for approval. And once you stop seeking approval, explanations become unnecessary. People who truly value you won't question your every move. They'll respect your decisions, even when they don't understand them immediately. They'll trust your direction, even when you walk differently. Stop explaining your dreams. When you tell people what you want to achieve, they try to scare you, limit you, discourage you. They say, are you sure? Is it practical? What if you fail? But your dreams were given to you for a reason. They were not put in someone else's heart. They were put in yours. You don't need to explain why you think big. You don't need to justify ambition. You don't need to defend vision. Some things are meant to be shown, not explained. Stop explaining your healing. Not every person deserves access to your past. Not every person deserves a seat at your recovery. Some people want explanations just to gossip about them later. Some want to understand your pain so they can use it against you one day. Your healing is sacred ground. Protect it. Stop explaining what makes you you, your personality, your past, your preferences, your pace, your peace. None of it requires explanation. You are not a book everyone gets to read. You are not a puzzle everyone gets to solve. You are allowed to evolve quietly, move silently, grow privately. When you stop explaining yourself, you stop shrinking yourself, you stop watering down your truth. You stop giving people the right to judge the decisions they never lived through. And slowly you begin to feel something powerful, a freedom that only comes when you stop justifying your existence. Move in private, because the moment you make your every step public, you give the world permission to slow you down, question your path, and sabotage your vision. Privacy isn't secrecy, privacy is power. When your plans are quiet, your progress becomes louder. When your growth is silent, your results become undeniable. Most of the time, dreams don't die from failure, they die from exposure. Too many eyes, too many opinions, too many energies interfering with the seed before it has the chance to bloom. When you move in private, you protect your momentum. You protect your peace. You protect your purpose. Imagine planting a seed in the soil. You don't shout to the whole world, "Look, I planted something." You water it quietly, care for it daily, protect it from harsh weather, and let it grow underground in silence. Only when it becomes a strong plant does the world finally see it. That's how your life works. Your dreams need darkness before they shine in daylight. They need privacy before they become power. Daily life gives you countless examples. Think about a student preparing for an important exam. If they announce their goals to everyone, suddenly people begin comparing, doubting, gossiping, questioning. Some secretly hope they fail, some laugh behind their back, and that pressure can break their focus. But the student who studies quietly, who doesn't brag about their preparation, who doesn't tell the world their moves, they walk into the exam calm, centered, focused. And when results rise, nobody saw the struggle, but everybody sees the success. The same applies to relationships. When you tell everyone your issues, your plans, your arguments, your reconciliations, too many voices enter your story. Friends add confusion. Family adds pressure. Outsiders add judgment. Suddenly your private bond becomes a public debate. But couples who move in private, who resolve their issues quietly, who build their love away from the public eye, grow deeper. They're not performing for the world. They're building something real for themselves. In career and business, privacy becomes your shield. Imagine someone starting a new venture. If they announce every idea before it's ready, people copy it, criticize it, discourage it, and drain the excitement from it. Sometimes your dream collapses not because it wasn't good, but because too many people touched it before it matured. But the person who moves in private builds quietly. They learn, evolve, fail, improve, all without the world watching. And when they finally launch, the world is shocked because the work was done in silence. Another example, someone trying to change their habits, not for show, not for validation, but for themselves. If they go around telling everyone, "I'm starting a diet, I'm going to the gym, I'm waking up early, I'm quitting bad habits," they invite pressure and unsolicited advice. People begin monitoring their progress, commenting on their slips, teasing them about mistakes. But when they move in private, they grow without tension. One quiet day at a time, they become unrecognizable in the best way. Move in private when healing too. Healing is not a performance. Not everyone needs to know what broke you, who betrayed you, what hurt you, or how you're rebuilding yourself. Oversharing your pain gives others power over it. But healing in silence gives you the power back. The most powerful transformations are the ones no one saw coming. The quiet nights crying, the silent prayers, the lonely decisions, the internal battles. These invisible moments shape you. And when you return stronger, people wonder how you did it. In daily life, you'll notice something. The more you talk, the less you act. Words create noise. Noise attracts attention. Attention brings energy, good and bad. But when you move quietly, you save energy for action instead of explanation. People who move in private don't need applause to keep going. They don't need approval to feel worthy. They don't need validation to believe in their direction. Their success is built in silence and revealed only when complete. And there's another truth. Privacy protects you from fake supporters. Some people only cheer for you publicly so they can feel connected to your success. Privately, they feel threatened. They want updates not to support you, but to measure you, to compare, to compete. Moving in private removes access. People can't attack what they can't see. They can't ruin what they don't know. They can't interfere with what you keep within your heart. Imagine someone planning to move to another country, start a new job, or pursue a big dream. When they announce it early, hundreds of opinions flood in. Will you manage? Is it safe? What if it doesn't work? Why leave stability? Their doubts become heavier than your confidence. Their fears become louder than your excitement. But when you move in private, you bypass fear altogether. You make the decision, you take the step, you deal with challenges, and when the world sees you already succeeding, their opinions no longer matter. Privacy also brings mental clarity. The moment you stop narrating your life to everyone, your mind becomes peaceful. You make decisions faster. You trust yourself more. You rely on your intuition. You feel centered, grounded, secure. Moving in private is an act of self-respect. You choose to protect your journey instead of exposing it for applause. Look at people who have truly changed their lives, those who became financially stable, emotionally strong, spiritually grounded, mentally sharp. They didn't announce their intentions. They didn't tell the world, I'm leveling up. They simply did it. Quiet hard work, silent discipline, private sacrifices. And then one day the world woke up and said, they changed. They didn't change in public, they changed in private, and results became the loudest announcement. Move in private because not everyone deserves access to your next chapter. Some people only knew the old you. Some people only want the old you. Some people are waiting for you to fail so they can feel better about themselves. Protecting your moves protects your future. The less they know, the safer your dreams are. The quieter you become, the more powerful your transformation becomes. Non-reaction is not weakness, it's the ultimate form of emotional intelligence. It is the quiet power that separates the people who move with intention from the people who move from impulse. When you master non-reaction, you step into a new version of yourself, calm, composed, untouchable. You stop being a puppet pulled by other people's words and emotions. You become the one in control. And trust me, that shift changes everything. Because the moment you stop reacting, you break the cycle of giving people free access to your peace. Think about your daily life. Someone cuts you off in traffic. Your instinct is to honk, yell, maybe throw your hands in frustration. But pause for a second. What does reacting really give you? A few seconds of heated satisfaction, or a whole day of ruined mood. Now imagine doing the opposite, taking a breath, staying silent, letting the car go. That one moment of non-reaction does not make you weak. It shows that you value your peace more than proving a point to a stranger. That's strength, that's maturity, that's power. Or think about arguments. Someone says something disrespectful, something they know will trigger you. Most people respond instantly, shouting, defending, feeding the fire. But when you master non-reaction, you no longer jump into the battlefield every time someone throws a spear. You observe, you understand, and you decide whether the situation deserves your energy. Most of the time, it doesn't. The dialogue becomes, I don't need to react to everything. My silence is not surrender. My silence is strategy. People expect your anger. Your calm confuses them, disarms them, and protects you. There's a reason the wisest people in the world rarely react emotionally. They know that reaction is a gift and not everyone deserves it. They know that reacting to negativity fuels negativity. They know that sitting with your emotions instead of throwing them around gives you clarity. Non-reaction is not about being silent forever. It's about choosing your response instead of being ruled by impulses. It's about emotional discipline. It's about teaching yourself not to crumble every time the world tests you. Look at your relationships. How many times have you said things in anger that you wished you could take back? Words spoken from reaction carry weight. They wound, they create distance, they weaken trust. Non-reaction teaches you to pause, to think, to respond, not from a place of emotion, but from a place of wisdom. Imagine your partner saying something hurtful. Instead of matching their energy, you pause. You breathe. You say, let's talk when we're both calm. That small sentence can save a relationship. That one moment of emotional control can prevent a storm. Mastering non-reaction also elevates your professional life. In workplaces, people react quickly. Emails sent in anger, decisions made in frustration, comments spoken without thought. The people who rise are the ones who remain composed, the ones who don't panic under pressure, the ones who don't bark back when challenged. When you master non-reaction, you become someone others trust. Someone who leads with strength, not chaos. Someone who stands tall like a mountain even when the wind tries to shake them, and trust me, the world notices that. Opportunities gravitate toward calm, steady energy. Even with friends, non-reaction removes unnecessary drama. Someone didn't text back, someone didn't include you, someone made a rude comment. Instead of spiraling, analyzing, overthinking, you choose peace. You say, if it's important, it will come to me. If it's meant for me, it will stay. And if it's not, I will not chase it. That mindset frees you from emotional dependency. It teaches people that your mood cannot be controlled by their actions. That's how you earn respect without asking for it. And let's talk about trolls, the people online or offline who live off your reaction. They poke you, provoke you, criticize you just to see you break. But when you stop reacting, you starve them. You take away their power, you become unpredictable, unreadable, and suddenly they have nothing left to feed on. Your silence becomes your armor, your peace becomes your shield, your non-reaction becomes the wall they can't climb. Daily life is full of tests, and every test has one question: will you react or will you rise? The people who react stay trapped in loops: anger, regret, frustration. The people who rise choose calm, control, and clarity. Mastering non-reaction doesn't happen overnight. It's a practice. Every day you train yourself. Every day you choose peace over chaos. Every day you refuse to let someone else pull you out of character. And that is how you slowly build an unshakable identity. Non-reaction does not mean you don't care. It means you care too much about your peace to lose it over something small. It means you refuse to let every comment, every opinion, every situation dictate your emotions. It means you have mastered yourself. And when you master yourself, the world cannot break you. There comes a moment in every person's life when they realize that silence and self-control were never signs of weakness, they were signs of evolution. And if you're listening to this right now, that moment is happening for you. Because the truth is simple: the world does not shape you. You shape yourself, not through loud reactions, not through endless explanations, but through the quiet choices you make when no one is watching, through the discipline you hold when everything around you tries to pull you out of character. This is where your power begins to rise. When you choose peace over chaos, when you choose focus over distraction, when you choose to respond, not react, you become unstoppable. You become the person who doesn't break when the world pushes. You become the person who pushes back with grace. You become the storm and the calm at the same time. And people feel that energy long before you ever open your mouth. You see, life will always test you. It will poke at your wounds, challenge your patience, tempt your emotions. But your strength is not measured by how loudly you fight. Your strength is measured by how powerfully you hold your center. There is a dialogue that leaders and legends live by: I refuse to shrink just because the room can't handle my silence. That kind of energy does not need approval. It does not need applause. It does not need validation. It stands tall on its own. You must become the kind of person who says, I choose my battles and I choose myself every time. Let people misunderstand you. Let them talk, let them doubt. Your job is not to convince them. Your job is to become undeniable. And the truth is, the most undeniable people in the world are not the loudest. They're the ones who walk into a room with quiet confidence, focused purpose, and the kind of energy that says, watch me. Understand this. Silence is not empty. Silence is full of answers, full of strength, full of transformation. The quiet moments you spend building yourself will echo louder than any argument you avoid. The focus you protect today will build the future you will walk into tomorrow. And one day the same people who questioned your silence will be the ones admiring your results. There is beauty in moving differently. There is power in not reacting to every noise. There is magic in protecting your peace like it is your crown, because it is. Every time you choose silence over chaos, you are choosing to rise. Every time you choose focus over distraction, you are choosing to win. Every time you choose not to explain yourself, you are choosing to own your identity. And remember this famous truth: a roaring lion is powerful, but a silent lion is dangerous. When you master silence, the world feels your presence even when you say nothing. When you master focus, you stop chasing opportunities. Opportunities start chasing you. When you master non-reaction, you become immune to the noise that breaks most people. So stand tall, lift your chin, step into your future with unwavering clarity. You don't owe the world your reactions. You owe yourself your peace. You don't owe anyone an explanation. You owe yourself authenticity, and you don't need to shout to be heard. Your destiny will speak for you. Let your silence refine you. Let your focus build you. Let your strength unfold naturally. And one day, when your success is loud enough to shake the ground beneath you, remember this moment. The moment you decided to rise quietly and conquer loudly.